Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video, what we are going to be doing is, we have a hole right here in our drywall. It was actually cut in the wrong place, so we're going to have to patch it. And in this video, I am going to show you how to patch it, doing a California style patch with just a piece of drywall. No, we don't have any screws, we don't have any extra lumber around here, so this is the kind of patch we're going to do today. Let me explain how we're going to do it. Alright, so first of all, it's too hard to do a round patch. So let's do a square rectangle patch, right? So ideally what we're going to do is we're going to go make this like this and the same going up, and then we'll just go about doing it that way. So take our knife, our sheetrock knife, and we'll cut this out. Okay, so we got those cut. So now we'll take our knife and we'll go ahead and score it going across. This one I clearly didn't make big enough coming down. So we'll go like that. Get rid of that. Same thing up top here. Go ahead and score it. And we have our square hole. So now we'll take a chunk of drywall. This is what we had laying around. So it's actually probably just about right that way. So what you'd like to do, let's go here. So ideally, around your patch, you're going to want an inch and a half to hang over each side. So I would say out of our piece of drywall that we have, this is probably going to be our best bet to go this route. So we got a good width that way. Let's cut it for the height. It's probably somewhere about down in here. We'll get that piece cut, and then we'll go into detail of what we do next. Okay, so we got our square piece for our patch. So now this is what we're going to do. We're going to flip this around to the paper side. You're going to see both sides of your hole here, right here and here. I'm going to use a pencil just so you might be able to see it a little bit better at first. So right here's your edge. You're going to want to cut or score your paper on this side. You're going to want to go about 1/4 inch in. Now for you that have a carpenter's pencil is right about 1/4. So if you wanted to actually get really serious with it, you could. If not, for our purposes, we're just going to eyeball it and guess. So we're going to go about there, and the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to go about there. So let's go ahead and we'll cut these out. And the reason why we are going to go 1/4 inch and not try to fit it tight, I'm going to get to that here in just a second. So now that we got that, we'll go like this, and now this is where you got to peel it off your front layer of your paper. So you can see, there you go. So we'll peel that off. Now we got to do the opposite side. Okay. Now we peel this side off. Now we're good to go. See, we got our paper on both. So now we'll do it. We got it cut for this way. Now we'll go ahead and cut it height-wise. So we'll fold the piece of paper back. Go ahead and do the same exact thing. Back. So we'll go that way and that way. And again, we're holding it back 1/4 of an inch or so. You could go 1/8. You could go tight if you're perfect. You could go tight on there. But for our purposes for this video, we're not. Okay, that one, that one. Okay, now we got our piece of drywall, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take our drywall knife, and we're just gonna make sure there's not any loose chunks, because that'll affect our patch in the end. And if there is, we'll just knock them off, and then we're good to go. So, take your all-purpose mud, give it a quick turn, and now we'll go ahead and we'll put some on here. And we'll just make sure it's got a good even coat. It's pretty much like in one of my other videos. It is the same as if you were putting drywall tape on. This is about what you'd want to do. You don't need to put a ton of mud on, but you do need a little bit of mud because you want your tape obviously, or your paper to stick. So we'll just go ahead and do it something like that for now. It doesn't have to be the prettiest at the moment, but that's what it's going to look like right there. Okay, so now this is what we do, and this is what I do that makes it different than what a lot of other people do. I saw this and actually learned it from an old drywaller that I met on a commercial job site one time. He told me that if you ever got to do anything like this and you know you're not 100% tight with how it fits, that you should take a little bit more drywall mud, and on your side that's got your piece of sheetrock still attached, you're going to want to just kind of put some in there. So I'm not sure. Let's see, I'll try to get closer so you can see it, but you're going to want to do something like that. And you will go ahead and we got that one. We'll go ahead and do the other side, and we'll do it all the way around, right? Put a nice liberal amount on everything, on all 4 of those sides. And I'll tell you why. So I've found that it works really well. The gentleman that taught me this showed me at the time why it works really well. Now, the reason why it works so well is because your piece of sheetrock is not the right size. It's not 100% tight to fit. So now if you put mud in there, and it's going to add more glue, and it's going to make your patch itself just way stronger. So we're going to go ahead and leave it like that. Now we're going to go ahead and stick it in, and we'll go ahead and this is the only time I really like to wear gloves, because it just gets so messy sometimes. So we'll go ahead and just tap it on around, and what you can do is take your drywall knife, and what you'll try to do is go across to where you still hit both sides, and that way you don't push your patch in too far. If you push your patch in too far, it's really hard to get it back out. So go ahead and finish tapping this side in. I think that's pretty good right there for what we're looking for at the moment. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and we'll take our knife and we will start to work our patch out, and we'll make sure, I think I got some chunks of mud in my pan. It's never any good, but it's our first coat. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this going all the way around here and try to get some of these chunks out if I can. Makes it a little more challenging, but we'll get it going. So you're gonna want to get the majority of your mud out from behind the patch, obviously, that we put back there. You don't want to pull too much out, You still got to leave some back there because it is an adhesion factor. You got glue in your mud. Hopefully you're using an all-purpose mud or taping mud. Or if you're really good and you're able to mix your own mud and you put your own glue in it, that works as well. So let's see, we'll just clean up our edge here. Make sure you feather your edge. Feather your edge. And that'll just make it easier for everybody involved. Okay, so from there is your patch. And it looks like it's good. Looks like it's pretty good. Yeah, and it doesn't stick up. Okay, so again, let me take a moment and just scoop some of this out that's got the chunks in it. Apparently my pan was not as clean as I thought it was. So, now that we got that done, we can go ahead, and while we're here, we might as well live a little dangerous. And we will go ahead and give it a nice first coat. Now, being that there's wet mud underneath it, there's wet mud behind it, there's going to be wet mud on top of it. This patch may take a little bit longer to dry, but on a job this size, doesn't really matter. We're here for a while. We got the time to have this dry properly, but I just want to get a coat on here. And you just make sure you gotta feather your edges. Might have taken a little bit too much off right there. So, go ahead and put a little bit back on. And there you have it. I could probably touch it a little bit more. Right in here, there's a couple little spots, but you got to remember this is also going to get another 1 to 2 coats over it. And what it's at right now, my edge is all feathered. That's all around the edge. And I don't need to worry about the middle right now because that I can sand down just a hair or scrape flat. And once this dries, we'll go ahead and we'll finish her up. We'll put another couple coats on and you will never know that that's there.